So here I am at the Museum of Sydney, and it's my last day in Sydney, which if I have put up my vlog first, then you'll already know. So this is a video all about what's going on inside the museum. So we're going to go and check it out inside, and you can follow my vlog, which will tell you what I got up to today. But this is just the Museum of Sydney, so catch up with you inside. So here I am now in the Museum of Sydney, and it's a bit more of a traditional museum setup. There's no house here, so it's not set up like a historic house, but it's still got all the same exhibitions and stories to tell me about the early days of the Sydney colony. Here I'm sitting in a tiny little booth, and there's some characters appearing in front of me, which are based on real characters and real things and events that they witnessed. And they're telling me about all the early days in the colony in a much more dynamic way. In this first room that I've explored, it tells me that the progression of the city from its earliest days all the way through to the present. I particularly like this watercolour, which shows the bay without the iconic Opera House or the Harbour Bridge. It was as it was in the early 19th century. To this next part, and we actually have an exhibit all about the very first cinema. And if I just quickly show you this program, we have live musical entertainment and the opening of the cinema all in one place. And I'm not sure if you were able to see that the Regent Symphony Orchestra was actually part of this gala opening, which shows just how important live music and cinema was in the earliest days. Sorry to keep harping on, but here's another demonstration of the important role of music in the earliest days of the colony. This is a cello believed to have been once owned by Elizabeth Macquarie, who was the governor, Lachlan Macquarie's wife, and we have her image just up here. Vlogs that I've been posting over my trip in Sydney, I think you get the impression that I really like historical things, which is pretty good considering I'm a music historian. But another great love of mine is looking at the 18th century Navy. Now, I fell in love with a TV program called Hornblower, and then I ended up reading all of the books. So it's absolutely fascinating to see these models of frigates. But it's also telling me the journey of all the convict ships that came to Sydney. And actually, if you come here, the names of the ships match up with the names of the ferries that I have been boarding all week long. So that's a little fun fact for you, and if you ever come to Sydney, then do check it out. just come across this magazine, which is called Unlocked, and this is actually the music issue. And if we turn inside, here is an article all about my visit, which is a little bit short because it was written before I actually came. But it just kind of goes to show that I am really here in Sydney exploring all of these fascinating collections, if you didn't know that already. But I will be bringing a copy of this back home with me, so if anybody is interested to see it up close and personal and you live relatively close to Glasgow, then I can show you and tell you all about what I have been up to and what the collections here have to offer. So I've just finished my visit here in the Museum of Sydney, and it really is a fascinating collection from the earliest colonies all the way through to the present day, the demolitions that happened in between, and it's really trying to explore the full progression of the city to what it has become in the present day. It is a much more traditional museum setup. Personally, I like the historic house setup, but then I'm biased because I'm a historic house historian who likes to look at music inside these houses. But I did feel there's an awful lot of text and an awful lot of reading. So if that's not the kind of museum that you're into, then maybe this isn't one to visit. But they do have an excellent collection of artwork, and you really can see how the city has progressed and grown throughout the years. So for that alone, I think it's a really good visit, really worthwhile, sort of ties up with everything around the city that you'll be seeing to do with heritage and historic sites. So that's it from the Museum of Sydney. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if you really enjoyed it, and put a comment below. Also follow me on Twitter, and you can follow my WordPress account as well, which is researchadventuresblog.wordpress.com. That's all from me, folks, and I'll be catching up again very soon, hopefully from a different city. See you later.